Hello there, Mr. Sutton here, bringing you this lesson on factoring trinomials, basic. By basic, I mean in this one we are going to be factoring trinomials for which a value, the coefficient of x squared, equals 1. We're going to begin this lesson with an important definition. When I talk about standard quadratic form, I'm talking about something in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. To be perfectly honest, there's two things you need to get out of this. The most important thing is knowing what I'm talking about when I say a, b, or c. A is the quadratic coefficient, b is the linear coefficient, c is the constant in all of these quadratics. Also, later on, we're going to talk about putting things in standard quadratic form, and you're going to need to know what that means. So here it is. For your warm-up, please put this expression in standard quadratic form. So in other words, you'll have to FOIL and then simplify this, combine like terms. Turn the video on pause and take a sec to do that. All right, so foiling this out, we got firsts, x squared, and then the outers, negative 2x, inners, 5x, lasts, negative 10, combine like terms, and we've got 3x in the middle. So that's stuff you guys already did. However, the follow-up question to this is, what if we start with an expression in standard form, like this right here? And what if we want to work backwards to see what the original factors were? How could we go from x squared plus 3x minus 10 to x plus 5, x minus 2? So pause the video again and see if you can figure out the pattern. Look at the numbers you're starting with. Look at the numbers you're ending with. How did we get those numbers? So the pattern that you're hopefully picking up on is that the two numbers in parentheses, the constants, end up multiplying to give you this constant at the very end, and they actually end up adding together to give you this linear coefficient. So if we want to go backwards from standard form to factored form, we need to find factors of the c value, 6 in this case, that add up to the b value, the linear number, 5. So let's just go through some factors of 6 and see what they add up to. You could do this mentally. I'm just going to show my work just so you can see where I'm coming from. So 1 and 6, that's one way to get 6. But does that add up to 5? No, it doesn't. That adds up to 7. So let's keep going. What else multiplies to 6? Oh, 2 and 3. Now we're just using whole numbers. Otherwise, there's an infinite number of combinations. 2 and 3 does add up to 5. Woohoo! So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to put 2 and 3 inside parentheses with x's. And this is the factored version of x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now, if you want, you can check your answer by multiplying the factors back out. So foiling this, we've got x squared, 3x, inners gives us 2x, lasts is 6. Middle terms combine to give us the 5x. You might not know it at this point, but factoring is probably one of the top 3 skills that you need to come away from algebra with. You're going to be using this, those of you who take calculus, on the AP test. That's how important this stuff is. So pause the video and take a sec to try out these 3 examples. And while you're doing this, pay close attention to the signs here. Try to use some of your sign rules for multiplying and adding to figure out what signs your numbers need to be. All right, let's see what we came up with. So for this first one, we need things that multiply to 36 and add up to negative 13. Now thinking about the signs here, since they multiply to a positive, that means they have to have the same sign. And since they add up to a negative, that means then they must both be negative. So factors of 36, we've got 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, so we're getting closer, 4 and 9, yep, 4 and 9. So x minus 4, x minus 9, because we said they have to both be negative, that's what's going to give us this. Notice that there's pretty much no work going on unless you actually show your factors and what they add up to. This all happens in your head. Trying the next one now. Things that multiply to negative 70 and add up to positive 3. Now be careful here. Since they multiply to give you a negative, that means your two numbers have to have opposite signs. So you're looking for two numbers that subtract to give you 3. So we got 1 and 70, 2 and 35, let's see, 5, and what times 5 gives us 70? Oh yeah, 14. Feel free to use the calculator on this. And let's see, 7 and 10. Wait, 7 and 10. If we had negative 7 and positive 10, that would add up to positive 3 and multiply to negative 70. Cool beans. Let's try the next one. we need numbers that multiply to negative 11 and add up to 5. So negative 11, that means the numbers have to be opposite signs, and they have to add up to 5. Negative 11 doesn't have a lot of factors, right? There's really just 1 and 11. It's a prime number. So you're not going to be able to get 5 out of that no matter how you slice it. So this one is what we call prime, again from the last lesson. That's when you can't factor something, you call it prime. Just like a prime number has no factors other than 1 in itself. So that's it for now. Next time around, we'll take a look at what happens when we have something other than 1x squared out in front, like a 3x squared. Certainly we'll have to factor that in. Till then, Mr. Sutton signing off.